This is your number one source for all things comics, movies, and pop culture. It's Geek Week with Chris.
Hello, boys and girls. Joker here, Gotham's clown prince of crime. I've taken over Geek Week with Chris and Nick this episode, since Chris and Nick are, how do I put this, a little tied up. This week's topic for Geek Week is all about moi. So don't touch those dials, kiddies, and keep tuned in to WRKC 88.5 FM, King's College Radio.
Thanks for that intro, Mr. J. You are tuned into Geek Week.
I'm Chris Natale.
And I'm Nick Rotundo.
To all those listening, thank you for joining our discussion.
And if you would like to hear any of our old episodes, be sure to check out our YouTube account, which is posted on our Facebook account at www.facebook.com/geekweek885.
With us today is our good buddy, Nick Montoni. He's been on the show before to talk about the Marvel TV Universe, and he's back to talk with us about today's topic.
Good. Thank you guys for having me again.
No problem, buddy. Glad to have you. And, of course, one of your other specialties to talk about, one of your favorites, I should say, this week's topic, all about the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm glad to see that we could snag you for this episode. And unfortunately, we started a little bit late, but, prior engagements were college students running all over the place. So with that, let's get right into today's topic. We're going to begin with some history of the Joker, his origin, where he states in The Killing Joke, if I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
I love that one so much.
Oh, yeah.
So, Chris, I know you're also a big Batman fan. So, Chris, I'll let you start off with, some recent origin, the most recent origin.
Okay, so the most recent origin for the Joker was in Batman Zero Year, issue number 24 of that series. It came out in October 9th, 2013. So in this issue, Batman attempts to liberate Gotham from the Red Hood gang, and he attacks them at the center of where he knows is the problem, and that problem is one of the main members of the Red Hood gang is knocked off, is kind of causing chaos, and he knocks himself off into a catwalk and falls in towards a vat of chemicals. And when Batman reaches out his hand to save him, the man doesn't even care, and he falls into this vat with this smile on his face. No one says that this marks the birth of the Joker in this particular book, but anyone who knows their Batman history doesn't need this spelled out for them, really.
Yeah, and actually I just saw on comicbook.com today, they've announced that the Joker's coming back to DC Comics, so kind of a win-win for us to talk about that today.
I think so.
So I know you got a lot of these facts of the origin and stuff like that from comicbook.com, so shout out to them as well. Also, another big news before we continue, teaser for Spider-Man Homecoming today. What? Web Wings?
Oh, that came out?
Yeah, the teaser came out today. The trailer's coming out tomorrow.
Well, I mean, the teaser, yeah, I got to check that out now.
But yeah, so it's great stuff. Go check that out after you listen to us. But, of course, now it's time to start from the beginning. So this
from the bottom, now we're here.
Oh, you know it.
Sorry,
this follows Bob Kane and Bill Finger, Batman #1. Came out in the spring of 1940, Golden Age Batman series. This is the Golden Age. This is the OG series of Batman. Joker is introduced pulling off a number of heists and killing no less than 4 people before he's apprehended by Batman and Robin. His first victim is a wealthy socialite named Henry Claridge, who died with an unnerving smile on his face, which, in a sense became a trademark of the Clown Prince of Crime. For his other victims, he publicly declares that he intends to kill them and rob them before actually doing so. So we see this, he's on the radio shouting this out. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, brought into the fact of movies and stuff, too, that kind of adapted that into modern times with TV and stuff like that. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but still talking about Golden Age, he even impersonates the police chief in order to kill a Gotham City judge. This is ridiculous stuff here.
Yeah.
This guy was a cold-blooded psychopath killer. But, since he was introduced as the psychopath killer, it all changed after, thanks to Comics Code, everybody's favorite, which becomes more campy, more goofy, the Silver Age of comics. But while Batman #1 lacks the sophistication of some of the modern age attempts to shine a light on the Joker's character, it clearly lays the foundation for many of the great Joker stories that are followed. So, I mean, like with that, I mean, that's a great way to introduce him, I think, just talking about his first ever appearance, And actually, there was this little, panel that I saw. A guy came on to Fat Man on Batman, Kevin Smith's podcast.
Here we are.
And there's a picture of, like a drawing, like a sketch of a clown, and it's shouting out to somebody, boss, the Batman's coming, you got to run or whatever. And this is years before the Joker was ever introduced. So there's theories that this could be the first appearance of the Joker.
I have a theory, too. I have a theory that Nick can't go one show without making a Kevin Smith reference. But, yeah, I completely agree with you there, Nick. This is definitely, I really appreciate the comicbook.com, the article that they gave, because they gave so much information on this. And I thought that, seeing this, I was like, I want to read Batman #1 now. I've never read that. Yeah. And I was just like, the fact that that's, the foundation of what everything we love started on is just amazing. And then the next issue that he's featured is Detective Comics #68, which is The Man Behind the Red Hood. And that is an iconic, that issue by itself is iconic to anything that happens with the Joker from here on out, because they take a lot of things that happen in media and with the Joker and the comics haven't been inspired by this issue. And
even other characters. I mean, now you have Jason Todd Red Hood, and this came because of this issue.
Yeah.
So this issue came out in February 1951. It's the first take on the Joker's origin and the Red Hood, the alias of the Red Hood, the debut of it. So it starts with Batman and Robin speaking to college kids. Funny how we're on a college radio show. So pretty much about a case they never solved. They mentioned a master criminal named Red Hood who just eluded them by jumping into a vat of chemicals at the Ace playing card company factory. The students decided to work with Batman and Robin and reopen the case. But after being misdirected, by the Red Hood's identity and just all that, the Joker's shown tied up. He then admits to Batman, Robin, and the students that he was the masked man all those years ago. His hood saved him from death. Not sure how, but it did. But the chemicals terribly just disfigured him, making him appear like a clown, which could have did anything. Could have melted him and everything. He could have just instantly died. But comics logic, like Nick said. So since the incident at that playing card company, the name Joker was born, and this chemical bath origin has been done many times over. Like I said, this comic has very well adapted all these different movies and things that the Joker's featured in, shows for example Gotham. The Red Hood gang was featured on an episode of Gotham.
Yeah.
I remember that. I thought that was a cool nod to that origin story. And Batman Under the Red Hood, one of my favorite animated movies.
One of mine as well. I love that storyline.
And just reading these things about the Joker has made me a lot more interested in his character than I normally would be. But yeah, Nick, do you want to add anything?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, definitely got me interested in actually finding the foundation of the Joker and how he actually came to be. Because now we're gonna get to the Killing Joke, but definitely a different take on the notorious stories that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, and I know. Your roommate, your good buddy, oh geez, I am so tired today. Mark Decker, one of our buddies, he has The Killing Joke on DVD, so I'm sure you've watched it plenty of times. The book's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Is it one of your favorites, or
the movie?
The book and the movie,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
So I mean, Alan Moore is the man when it comes to this. This book wasn't even supposed to be canon at first. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that, it's called The Killing Joke for a reason. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But, of course, The Killing Joke, Alan Moore, Brian Boland, came out March 1988, easily one of the greatest Batman stories ever published. I mean, we've seen as a complex and controversial analysis of the relationship between Batman and the Joker as you can get. This is what makes them tick. in a sense. It features an ending that is being still debated years later, and this is what we were talking about. The writer Alan Moore came out and said, "I called it the Killing Joke for a reason. I had Batman kill Joker." But a lot of fans are saying, no, you pan down and it's just Batman laughing or whatever. But no one really knows for sure except Alan Moore.
Yeah.
So
I think though that's what's beautiful about the story. You know, you can almost create your own ending and it still makes sense. You know what I mean?
The mystery, like giving the air of mystery and not giving you a definitive ending, is what makes this book is like one of my favorites easily. And like once I read it with my girlfriend, she like really appreciated it as well and saw this and was like, "Wow, okay, I'm really excited to see the animated movie." And that was fantastic, except for the first 30 minutes. But
I see what they were trying to do.
I do too, you know? And I was just like, you want to create more like
in a sense,
emotion for Barbara and things like that.
Yeah. In a sense, though, it kind of like goes along, in a sense, with the whole aspect of Batman Beyond, how Bruce doesn't talk to Dick Grayson anymore because of like a whole love triangle with him, Dick, and Barbara. So I mean, I kind of see why they did it, but on the other hand, like, come on.
Yeah, like I get both sides of it, like why people don't like it, and then I get why. I mean, I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I think it made sense for the hour and a half that it was, and it was okay.
So with that, this also adds multiple layers of depth and context to the Golden Age comic that we just talked about, The Man Behind the Red Hood, the Joker origin story. Instead of just the Joker being a madman, this title paints him in a completely different light and even creates like sympathy for the character. Like you see a flashback in the book to the Joker as a young man attempting to make it as a stand-up comedian and trying to provide for his pregnant wife. And they live in the slums of Gotham, and he's really trying to do as best as he can. He's late on rent a bunch of times, and he's laughed at, not laughed with because he's a comedian. He's laughed at because he just is horrible at it, and he's horrible at just everything. So, it finally, when he finally fails for the last time, he desperately makes a deal with the mob to rob a chemical plant. And this, leads to him putting on the Red Hood disguise and becoming the Joker because, the mob actually turns against him and says, like, the completely layout changed or whatever. You led us right to the cops or whatever. But, the whole point of it, the whole funny side to it, his wife dies before he can even, go out and get the money for it. So not funny in the sense that I'm laughing at it's ironic in the sense that like in a cynical sense, like in the Joker's mind, really he laughed at the fact that
like that one scene where like the cops catch them and then they shoot the robbers, like. And then, like, the Joker, like, sees Batman and just falls in the acid. Like, and then, like, the iconic scene with Brian Boland's art, because his artwork is amazing.
Oh, of course.
And it shows the Joker, like, taking off his mask and, like, smiling with, like, this, like, as the comicbook.com person wrote in their article, Cheshire Cat grin, which was... And it's like that's seen on posters today, and it's
infamous
awesome.
Picture of he's there with his eyes are bleeding, and he's got his hands through his hair, laughing out loud, looking at himself in the puddle. I cannot get enough of that picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the story also does is that it reflects a lot of the darker side of humanity. Just how you have the structure. He had the structure with his wife and trying to make that traditional lifestyle. And after a traumatic event, you never know how you're going to react. Even Bruce Wayne reacted in an extreme way, after his parents died. So it's a very interesting reflection.
Shows two sides of the coin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of coins, today is, of course, Harvey Dent's birthday in the comics.
I wasn't even trying to make it. Oh my gosh.
I texted Chris. I said, "Happy birthday, Harvey Dent." So, of course, Chris, I'll let you go on to the next story, which is, of course, Batman, the Man Who Laughs.
Awesome story.
Never read it, but it's
it's really good.
And just from what I've read about it so far, I want to read it. It's by Ed Brubaker and Doug Mankey. I probably butchered that name, but it's okay. Came out in February 2005, and it functions as like some kind of unofficial sequel to Frank Miller / David Musicelli's Batman Year One storyline. And this, from what we know, because most of us have read Batman Year One, because it's like one of those titles that you just need to read in comics. Like,
oh, of course.
And it ends with police detective Jim Gordon mentioning some new villain named the Joker threatening to poison Gotham's water supply. And this is similar to the Batman #1 that we talked about before, where the Joker spends the bulk of this comic like he's just issuing public threats to a number of high-profile Gotham City residents. Threats that he ultimately cashes in on when he kills the socialites. So basically, what happens later is in the final act of this book, Batman confronts the Joker, has the opportunity to kill him, which, you know, on one hand could save countless lives of innocent people that the Joker will probably kill later on in his life. But Batman, because of his moral code, ultimately decides not to, and we know and respect Batman for that because that's his thing, not to kill. And I'm not saying he's never killed. Just for anybody who's listening, I'm just saying that in this particular comic, he decides not to. I mean, in others, he has, and it's kind of been shown. But you know, moral of the story. Wow, that was a pun. Wow. Anyway, yeah, that book sounds awesome. It just sounds like another classic Joker story that you should read. Yeah.
And of course, you know, it coincides with where they got the idea for the Joker, which we'll talk about after we talk about one more book. That's going to be in our little Joker facts, but it's cool to see where they took the name from the book, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But of course, you know, the next book we're going to talk about, the last book we're going to talk about is Batman, Lovers and Madmen. This is Batman Confidential numbers 7 through 12 by Michael Green and Dennis Cowan. Jeez, these names, dude. Like
Cowan or Cohen.
I don't think they'll be mad.
Yeah, and John Floyd. This came out in April 9th, 2008. And this is another recreation of the Red Hood toxic chemical accident. This one kind of reminds me a lot more of Tim Burton's Batman in a sense, to the point where it's a man named Jack. He's a career criminal who talks about how he's become bored with robberies and heists. He begins to make jobs more challenging and initially draws out Batman. Jack becomes fascinated with Batman because of how ridiculous he looks with his costume, and starts to commit more crimes just to spend more time with Batman. Like, this really becomes like the whole yin-yang aspect. Like, this is kind of Nicholson's Joker. More Leto. I'm not Leto. More Ledger's.
I think more Leto.
But the whole criminal, like, his name's Jack. Like, that's really what got my idea for, like, this is Jack Napier. Like, so essentially he takes a woman hostage who turns out, hey, go figure, she's dating Bruce Wayne. And Jack slashes the woman across the midsection. Batman responds by throwing a batarang at the man, scarring his face near his lips, thus giving the Joker his infamous smile. And then one chemical accident later, and the Joker's born.
I'm just saying that must have been one heck of a batarang to slash his whole mouth open. Like
I'd picture
smile.
Maybe two going up on one on each side, but
that's pretty intense, man.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go back to comic logic for that one.
Comic logic.
Comic logic.
You know, like Captain Boomerang's giant boomerangs. We'll throw those. Let's see what happens. But yeah, of course, you know, this clearly shows that the man has always been a murdering sociopath, which, again, Tim Burton's Batman, Jack Nicholson, very good, like, similar interpretation. But, you know, now we're going to go into some Joker facts before the break. And the first one is, of course, where the Joker idea even came from. This is, he was based on a monochrome movie star named Conrad Veidt, who was in the 1928 film The Man Who Laughs. Now, this guy is like a murdering... No, I have not.
Oh, man.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm going to have to watch this
wonderful. Now. It really is. Like,
now, this is a sociopath-like killer with a crazy smile. Yeah. And they looked at that, they were like, Joker.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a great way to do it. And of course, that kind of like goes full circle with making a book called Batman: The Man Who Laughs in 2005.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Definitely gonna check that movie out. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, it's great. It's a great homage when they do that for the comic, The Man Who Laughs, and just even his look in the comic. Doug Mann, his artwork, it's amazing. It really is.
I have to check that out, definitely. Okay, so another Joker fact. One of my favorite stories, Flashpoint. It's Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and Bruce Wayne's mother becomes the Joker, and like that was a crazy twist. And I know people were still like who watched that and like haven't seen it, and they're just like, wow, like I would have never thought in a million years that like, okay, so Bruce doesn't become Batman, he dies in the alley, and then they have to have a Joker to the Batman. So
of
what
course.
happens?
And now,
like,
of
it's
course,
split between his parents.
This is, of course, Thomas Wayne's Batman is a lot more vicious. This is a man who, because his son died, took Joe Chill and beat him to death, and then becomes the Batman that we know from this different.
He owns
universe.
casinos. He like has guns.
Yeah,
He's
carries
not
guns.
He literally in the animated movie. Sorry for spoilers. Throws this girl named Yo-Yo off a roof,
Yeah, I
not
gotta read
caring
this.
if she hits the ground.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
My favorite scene, of course, from the animated movie is when you see like the transition of the characters, how they become who they were, and like Bruce is shot, Martha's covering his bullet hole, like trying to keep the blood in, and all of a sudden she starts crying. She's crying and like really getting emotional. She covers her mouth while crying. Tears are running down her face, and Thomas looks over at her after killing Joe Chill, and she looks up. She has her mouth covered with her hand still, but you see tears, and then she pulls back, and she's actually laughing, and the blood makes the smile on her face.
Yeah, it was intense.
So another one is in the 1966 Batman series, comic-wise. This is Batman 186, I want to say. This is the first time his first appearance. He actually had a sidekick named Gaggy, who was a midget. Yeah, this guy had like a big like beak, like like the party hats or whatever.
Yeah.
He wore that around his nose.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense though, because even if you read the Killing Joke, he has those
Like
those
cronies?
children,
Yeah.
those children
Yeah.
I could
like,
see it.
flying around. So it makes a lot of sense.
They put down Gordon. They hold him down with like these restraints.
Yeah,
It's pretty creepy.
They actually, I don't know I forget when they did it. I want to say it's New 52. They brought Gaggy back for a little bit, and like Gaggy pretended to be the Joker to get Harley Quinn to like go somewhere so he could kill her and have Gaggy become the sidekick again. But it falls out of place or whatever.
I've never even heard of that.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. Though.
I don't know if it was the New 52. It was a newer comic series, but it was cool that they brought him back for that.
Yeah.
And then he was, of course, cast aside again.
So all right. So in the really campy Batman series with Adam West,
Keeping it in 1966.
Cesare Romero as the Joker, and he wasn't really terrifying. More or less, just a goofy clown who did these things to just crimes in the city, and and apparently he refused to shave his mustache off for the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really into. I think he did like a bunch of soap operas and stuff.
Yeah, he was.
So he refused to shave it off because that
his,
gave him
kind of like his icon. Like that was
Yeah.
his, statement.
Well, that's like a lot of people back then when they were actors or whatever. Everybody like knew them for their mustache or something. Like
Yeah. I feel like people back then really didn't take acting that seriously though, as they do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
like they did it just like to have fun.
I watched that Batman Adam West movie on Netflix when it was on there, and I regretted every minute
running
of
with the
it.
bomb in his hands.
Yeah, around like the deck or the boardwalk, and I was just like, I can't do this right now because if anybody. First of all, they would think Batman needs to be put in an insane asylum for running around with a bomb in his hands with that kind of getup on. But I get it, and for its time, it was campy, but people enjoyed it and thought it was funny, so I get why it was like that. But I'm glad Batman's like how he is today.
Of course.
Honestly, though, in Cesar Romero's defense, being the first one to actually bring the Joker on screen, pretty tough job. And I
Yeah.
think he did.
Oh,
He did a pretty good job of doing that. Even though it's campy.
No, yeah,
You know what I
there's
mean?
still elements that he got
the
right.
laugh,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like
Yeah,
he
there's-
played it well.
There's
Yeah.
still elements he got right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not completely disregarding his performance.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just the campiness kills me sometimes.
Oh, of
Adam
course.
West makes me giggle. I can't. I can't.
I love Adam West.
I love him too. He's like a crazy uncle. He makes
He's
me
the
giggle.
mayor and Family Guy. And like,
He's all over the place. But of course, sticking with actors and getting really into their character, or not so much with the mustache and everything. Heath Ledger actually designed his Joker makeup for himself.
Yeah.
He wound up picking up white clown makeup and cosmetics from drugstores, and just like went method acting, just went nuts with it, threw together a distinctive look. And because of that, every day that he went onto set, he had to do certain elements of his makeup himself, and the team, the whole makeup team, had to recreate what he did every day.
Yeah. I mean, his commitment to the role was just.
he wrote there was a journal.
Yeah, I
remember
saw
there's a-
that they
there's a
released the journal.
that
You can
they-
see bits and pieces of it online.
Yeah, the man locked himself in a hotel room for what was it, either 3 weeks or 3 months, something like that, just to figure out just the laugh,
I can only imagine what that did for his next door neighbors and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you look at other people like Leto, who's another method actor,
Yeah.
and he said he walked down across New York City streets and just laughed at people and just to see the reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that creeped them out the most, they were he's like, all right, that's the one I got to use.
I mean, the Joker has some big shoes to fill, so people want to get it
Yeah.
right. And hey, I'm not gonna knock it if you spend time doing it and get the part right in the end.
Exactly. So, of course, with that, he was actually supposed to die in his first appearance in the comics.
Yeah, I knew that. That was
I did not know that. That's
that
pretty
was
interesting.
just imagine that if they were just we're gonna scrap this character. We wouldn't have any of the books and stuff that we have today, and a lot of people love the Joker just because of how he is with
Yeah.
Batman. and
Who
how
would
he
be
is as a
Batman's
character.
arch nemesis then? Who would be his big villain?
Penguin.
Either Penguin or Riddler or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
one of them would step up.
Yeah.
Definitely, one of those original villains would step up. I think Bane. You have.
True.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I
happens.
mean, the Batman mythos and his his rogues gallery is so huge. So I mean, anybody could fill that shoes if
mean,
need be.
He does have one of the best rogues galleries compared to Spider-Man. We'll compare to
Yeah.
other characters. Spider-Man also has a good rogues gallery, but
Yeah.
It's my boy. But yeah, so next fact, of course, Chris, you could take that one away.
So the Joker has no interest in Bruce Wayne, even though he knows he's Batman.
This is kind of a new thing too, because I saw that in what is that? The death, not the death
I
of
feel
the
like
family
in
or
some
whatever?
comics he doesn't know.
Which one's the one where he rips off his face? Is that New 52?
That's in Detective Comics like New 52,
okay.
Batman.
So he actually shows up in the Batcave, and I remember him saying I know all your little secret identities. I could just pop by anytime I want and stuff like that. I know all your social security numbers, everything. So
Wow.
yeah, he said a lot of stuff like that throughout
Sounds
the
like
years.
My ex-girlfriend.
Yikes. I would hate to be you.
It's okay. I'm crying on the inside.
But he's laughing on the outside.
He really is. He's
Yeah,
smiling.
yeah. I'm trying to cover it up. All right, let's move on from my past relationship.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, so there is not actually a complete 100% correct answer on who created the Joker. There's a lot of people that speculate, other one. God, I'm blanking on.
Bill Finger, Bob Kane.
Yeah, Bob Kane
I
said
would
that. Bob
say-
Kane said he had no part of it or whatever.
Yeah, because have you seen Bob Kane's design for Batman?
Well, yeah.
My gosh, he it was red suit with wings and he was blonde. You look at Bill Fingers and it's exactly what we wanted today.
True.
And it's people don't get that. I'm so glad Bill Fingers. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. I'm so glad Bill Fingers is getting credit today for what he did for Batman, because people are like, oh, Bob Kane's the man, but no one ever talks about Bill Finger, and he's kind of just left in the dust, kind of like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby's kind of left in the dust too. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's pretty cool that we don't really know who definitely created the Joker and everything. Even though I think it's Bill Finger, but like it's cool that there's so much mystery behind that character.
Kind of like the
Not
actual
even-
character.
Yeah, not even just his character as it is, but like how he was created and all that. There's
himself.
he's he just wrote himself.
He's just like,
you know?
screw it. I'm gonna be in a comic.
And okay, so he's been killed off multiple times. Batman Endgame, The Killing Joke, Dark Knight Returns. He was killed off too.
Quite indeed.
Like really badly.
That was
and
that
like you know
was
what's crazy is
nasty.
that Batman didn't even deliver the final blow in that.
Yeah, he did.
The Joker delivered the final blow to
killed
himself.
Yeah.
it blew my
By
mind when I read it.
twisting his neck the wrong way and just
Oh,
my gosh. But yeah, like as we like that's I think it's just so I haven't read Batman Endgame, so I have no idea like what that's about. My buddy Benny, if he was here, he probably could tell us because he's read all of that New 52 Batman stuff. But
of
obviously
course.
The Killing Joke, we talked about like the mystery of that, and you just hear it, and even in the movie when you're hearing Batman laughing and Joker laughing, and all of a sudden you just stop hearing Joker laugh, and you're like.
Yeah.
what happened there?
Someone shut him up, and it might be Conroy laughing, freaky.
Oh,
Just
yeah, it was
something
really
I've
creepy.
Never,
I
creepy.
I
Yeah.
shuddered.
It's really creepy.
When we were
Yeah,
watching that,
it
I
was
shuddered. I was like, I can't deal with this right
that
now.
makes me really uncomfortable, actually.
So, with that, unfortunately, this is kind of a sad fact to talk about. The Joker was actually supposed to make a cameo in the Dark Knight Rises movie. He was Heath Ledger's Joker, unfortunately, because he passed away.
R.I.P.
Yeah, of course. I miss Heath Ledger. Let's be honest here. As much as I wasn't a big fan of Christian Bale's Batman, the whole voice and everything, and it was too much for me. I really like Ben Affleck. I mean, I love Michael Keaton's Batman, but I mean, for me, Bale didn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that.
I can respect that.
And it's crazy because when people heard about Heath Ledger being Joker, no one thought he was gonna
everybody
do well.
shot it down.
Because it's like, oh, the guy from Brokeback Mountain, that's the guy that's going to
Yeah.
be the Joker? Oh, no chance. Like,
They did
fat
the same
chance.
thing when
And then he
Affleck-
literally shut everyone up the minute that movie was shown in theaters. Like, he
Yep.
shut everyone up. And, like, I didn't really read much into that because, like, when I was younger, I wasn't reading much on the actors. But, like, when I started learning more about it as I got older, I was like, wow, like, he really must have just blown that role out of the park. And he did. And I love the Dark Knight movie.
Something
It's still
tells
in my
me-
top 5 movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, something tells me though, the Batman movie that they're gonna do, the Batman by Ben Affleck. He wrote it. He's writing it. He's gonna direct it, and he's gonna star in it. I think that's gonna be his movie where he just proves everyone wrong for saying we don't need Batfleck. Bring back Christian Bale. We don't need Daredevil. He was horrible. Like this is gonna be his movie. I think.
Yeah, I can't stand people who are talking about a movie that's from like years ago. Get over the Daredevil
And
thing.
it's not even his fault. Like
It was the
it was the
script.
writers.
Yeah, it's usually
Yeah.
not.
like Ben Affleck
anybody's.
wasn't bad. Like it was the fact that the writing was so cheesy and terrible.
Honestly, now I'm a huge Daredevil fan, so it's like I
That
have to
hurt you.
defend it.
That hurt you.
No,
a
I'm
little
just
bit,
saying.
though.
I'm just saying. Like the movie, again, for what it did and the amount of time, like the notorious Daredevil comics doesn't follow it at all. But the ones that you read in between the issues and everything, it actually did a pretty good job. That's it.
I had a
That's
feeling.
me.
I had a feeling you were going to defend that.
Yep, that's me.
I was
for
like,
that.
I hear it coming. I hear a butt.
Oh yeah. So with that, let's get through these last couple facts quick before we go into our break. So the first one, of course, Joker cut off his own face and wore it afterwards. That's in the New
Nice.
52. Crazy stuff there. Superman punched out his heart. He punched the Joker's heart out in Injustice, the comics and the game, because he tricked Superman into killing Lois Lane
with the fear toxin, and
Oh, yeah.
literally made
Yeah.
Doomsday his wife and unborn child. And I would, if I was Superman, I would do the same thing.
And then he actually had his own solo series at one point until it crashed and burned. And that's pretty crazy to see. You'd think that'd be a pretty cool thing to see.
What, and just going around and
Yeah, just doing like his
whatever?
own thing. I mean, like I'm sure Batman would do a cameo, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
different.
It's hard to think about.
Yeah, just a comic from like his perspective instead of Batman's.
True.
That'd be cool. But so with that, another thing about him, a doodle in a newspaper clipping of The Shining landed Jack Nicholson the role of the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman. They drew over his picture of him in The Shining. I thought that was so cool.
I mean, hey, you watch The Shining. you see the Joker. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jack Nicholson does a great job. At
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
I really like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite actors.
And then Chris, this one's kind of funny. I'll let you take this one.
So he hates the Red Skull from Marvel just as much as Captain America does when they had the Marvel DC crossover. And he literally said, I may be a criminal lunatic, but I'm an American criminal lunatic. And, like, said, I'm not with whatever you're preaching here. And, like, I'm pretty sure, didn't he, like, punch him in the face?
I don't know. I know they teamed up until he found out he was a Nazi. So I forget, but I remember seeing pictures about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to have some songs based off of the Joker for you, and we'll be right back.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Jingle bells, Batman smelled, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel,
And the Joker got away.
crashing through the roof in a one-horse open tree. Busting out I go, laughing all the way. Merry Christmas.
And we are back. That was Mark Hamill's Joker. It was in the infamous episode in the animated series where, it was Joker's Christmas. One of Chris's favorites, I know.
Definitely.
So speaking of Christmas, speaking of the Joker, this is our last show, of course, during for the semester, and it is the Christmas show. So, Chris, I got a little something for you as a nice little tribute to say.
Oh my God!
So, Chris, you can open it on air.
Are you kidding me?
Not at all.
I swear. If
It's not a live snake.
If it's a head of an animal.
I didn't go Joker on you. Don't
I know you guys
don't
can't
you
see,
worry.
but the tears of joy are just adorable.
Oh my God! That's from The Dark Knight Returns. Oh my God, he got me. All right, guys. So Nick got me a Dark Knight Returns, like from the comic Joker pop figure. And
I know Chris collects Joker pops with his
Oh,
girlfriend, and I know one of his favorites is The Dark Knight Returns. So I was like, this is the perfect gift, man.
Dude. All right, man. Well, you're gonna get a very well-deserved hug after this.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
No problem, buddy. So with that, going into the next part of our talk, which we're going to try to get through as fast as we can, is of course the three Joker theory, which was brought into the comics and kind of also coincides with the movie universes, the DCEU, and before that. So to start it off, I'll explain quickly what the comic book theory is. Well, the whole comic book situation. So Justice League number 42 and number 50 talks about the Mobius chair, and basically, it explains the whole fact of Batman sits in a chair. The chair knows everything about everything, and he asks it what the Joker's true name is, and it tells him there's three Jokers. So with that, Jeff Johns wrote this, and he's also in charge of DC Comics now, and he's in charge of the DCEU now. So, with that kind of coincides with, the three old school live action Jokers that we got. 1966 Batman, Cesar Romero. 1989 Batman, Jack Nicholson. 2008 The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. So, we know the new Joker is on. We have a new Joker on our hands. Jared Leto's DCEU Joker, his portrayal in 2016's Suicide Squad. So, what if it turns out Jared Leto's Joker isn't actually a new Joker? What if he actually is just like, in a sense, a reboot of an old Joker that we've had before? He's just picking up the baton from one of the old Jokers that we've already seen in the past. So that brings us to film theorists' idea of this, and it's a YouTube video, two-parter that I've seen. I've shared it with Chris and with Nick, so we've all seen this. We thought it was crazy idea, and with that, the movie Jokers fit perfectly into these three roles, which is the golden, silver, and bronze modern age. Bronze and modern, for some reason, they just combined them because it's kind of the same idea of it. We have golden age, master criminal, silver age, prankster, bronze modern, psychopath. So I mean, like where would you, the first things first? The one character you can put no matter where, he has to go in one spot. Cesar Romero, where would you put him? He's in Silver Age.
Yeah,
he's the prankster.
Yeah, nothing devious going on there.
So with that, then it comes down to golden versus bronze modern, and I mean, Chris, let's be honest here. Bronze modern is more of the yin yang loner thing. So I guess would you consider that Heath Ledger? That's what Film Theorist is saying.
Yeah, I would, because I like Heath Ledger is like just the way he performed, and he clearly wanted to make, as he said, he wanted to see the world burn, and that's I'm pretty.
He's
sure
a psychopath.
It's as psychotic as it gets.
Yeah. So with that leaves us with the golden age Joker is Jack Nicholson's Joker. He's the master criminal. He's the mobster. So, but where does that put, Jared Leto's Joker? I mean, you definitely know he's not a new take on it. He's not like a mixture of all three, but instead he is a reboot of one. What do you think? What would you guess if you had to guess between the three of them?
Probably the gangster.
That's what I would say too.
Yeah, because he leads again. He literally in the one scene in the Suicide Squad, there was a guy sitting in a chair tied up, and just a guy's pounding meat in the background. Joker comes in, he's like, all that chit chat's gonna get you hurt, and then he slaps his arms, and honestly I love that. I thought that was great, and he is more of just a Joker thug, like a Joker gangster, if you will, obviously like you guys are saying. So
we are 3 for 3. Film Theorist says that Jared Leto's Joker is in fact a continuation of Jack Nicholson's Golden Age. They both revel in violence. That cancels out Cesar Romero's prankster Joker. You're never going to see Cesar Romero's character kill Batman or anybody. And unlike Ledger's Joker, he's not a loner. He's this social butterfly, like you said, where he's got cronies. He's got even Harley Quinn. He's got a girlfriend. He's not a loner.
Yeah, exactly.
And, just like Leto's Joker, Nicholson always has his cronies, his posse doing his dirty work. And both Nicholson and Leto's Joker didn't always do crimes revolving around Batman, unlike Ledger's yin yang reference with the whole "you complete me. I'm not trying to kill you."
I love that.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, something tells me you miss Ledger just a little bit more than us.
Oh yeah, I'm probably Yep. I'm taking that.
Take that and run with as far as you can.
Absolutely.
I do miss Heath Ledger, though.
Yeah, so do I.
Maybe not as much as Nick, but I do miss him. And
I do miss him as well.
Performance.
And I do think, though, I do think Leto's doing a great job. I mean, don't get me wrong. The moment I saw what he looked like, I was a little iffy on it. Yeah. But his portrayal, if you completely just CGI'd a completely different Joker, put an animated Joker from the animated series and just looped over Leto's voice, it was very convincing.
Certain aspects, I feel with that, I did like Leto's Joker to a point, but I felt that he was more thuggish than the actual Joker would be.
Yeah, I think they tried to modernize it with gangs and everything going on in the world, so I can see why they did that, but I mean...
You look like you're going to say something, Nick.
No, I was just going to say, I think also, because we have seen it with Jack Nicholson's Joker, but I think now, we just established I'm Heath Ledger's biggest fan, but I think anybody who would have come after Heath Ledger, we would have been a little skeptical about it. You know what I mean?
Because Heath Ledger held the bar so high.
So he definitely did a great job. We also didn't see enough of Jared
We only
Leto's
got a
Joker.
certain amount of scenes.
Yeah,
people were really mad about that too.
There was so much cut from the film.
Yeah.
That now with the extended cut, I really want to see.
Same.
By the way,
I want to see it.
I watched that already. Is it good? Insane. I mean, there's not much added, but there is some Joker stuff that is added to it, more conversations with Harley, his relationship with Harley, how they're abusive. He actually, there is some abusiveness in it. There's still a lot cut out because, they didn't want to show that to the younger demographic, but
yeah,
I think it was very well done. And I wish the extended cut was the theatrical cut. There wasn't really much of a difference. I didn't feel like it was any much longer than it really should have been. Like with that, like it could have run as a theatrical release.
I mean, I think with the we were talking about the Batman movie for Ben Affleck's, when we see Jared Leto's Joker in that,
there's rumors he might not even be in it. I think he might be in like Arkham or whatever. But like I think it's based mostly on like Deathstroke because Joe Manganiello is going to be Deathstroke.
Well,
I could see. Sorry, I could see that, but I feel like you can't have a Batman movie without at least a hint of the Joker in it.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
A required element.
Like, I liked the Penguin Joker as well. The Penguin. Jeez, the Penguin.
What villain is that, Nick?
I don't know. It's a new creation I've made.
The poker.
well, Chris.
So, all right, it's probably not for radio. Sorry, guys.
No, it's not. So. The Penguin Batman movie is what I was trying to say. I enjoyed that with Danny DeVito's Danny DeVito's Penguin in the Batman movie. I enjoyed that one as well. Of course, like look at Tommy Lee Jones and of course Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Yeah.
So like they did a great job with that movie too, and Joker was in it. I feel like there are stories that could be done without the Joker, but he does need to be referenced.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that initial intimate relationship has to be present.
Of course.
Because we started with like after Joel Schumacher took over, and we don't.
This is the first ever time we've seen another Robin, not including Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah,
I'm not going to include that.
But I mean, with the whole with Michael Keaton's and Jack Nicholson's Joker, that relationship was there, and he spoiler, he died at the end. But that's how they were able to grow with the other villains. But I think.
And of course, you see in Suicide Squad, it says Harley Quinn, like her bio, it says accomplice to the murder of Robin. So I can't wait to see Ben Affleck come face to face with Jared Leto's Joker. I mean, like in real life, in real life,
interaction is worth money alone.
Oh yeah,
they're around the same height, I think, and they're around the same age as well. So I'm glad they picked who they did for a reason. So, I mean, I think it's going to be very well done, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm really excited. So, basically, guys, go read all the things we recommended, especially The Man Who Laughs, Killing Joke, and go out and get Suicide Squad Extended Cut if you want more of the Joker.
December 13th, it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray.
All right, we'll get it when it comes out December 13th, because I did not know that.
I'm also going to mention Read Joker by Brian Azzarello.
Agreed.
That's my favorite.
Agreed.
Favorite Joker story of all time.
Nick let me borrow that, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I just can't even. The art itself is worth it, and Brian Azzarello is a good storyteller. So just definitely do that. All right. Well, I want to say thank you all for joining us. This has been Geek Week with Chris and Nick. Once again, I'm Chris Natali,
and I'm Nick Rotundo. We have started up a YouTube channel to post all of our old videos, plus more to come, probably next semester, obviously, because, well, this is our last show. So that'll be weekly video updates, etc. So since we'll be posting our shows onto our YouTube account, be sure to subscribe to that. Please subscribe to our YouTube account and share it with all your friends and family. The YouTube account has been shared on the Facebook page. We're up to date with previous episodes now on our Facebook page. It is www.facebook.com/geekweek885.
This will conclude this semester season of Geek Week with Chris and Nick. I just want to say thank you all for coming on this journey with us for our show. And it has always been like an amazing ride for us. Keep safe, enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you in January with more Geek Week.
And we'll leave it with that.
Well, folks, it looks like our time is up. Just like Chris and Nick here. So let me get Harley so we'll say goodbye. Harley? Harley? Harley! She's a little indisposed at the moment, so I'll just say goodbye to Geek Week. And remember with a smile, there is always madness.